Never miss the news that matters to you. Follow WWAY on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Now, here's Chief Meteorologist Scott Dean with your WWAY Storm Track 3 AccuWeather forecast first.
It's turning into a chilly night out there under clear skies. We're looking at some clouds moving in, but also looking across the river here, and you notice a very festive scene with the Christmas trees sparkling in the night there. And also looking at some cold temperatures. Temperatures down into the 40s, 41 degrees, the coldest temperature, or one of the coldest at Calabash. Holly Shelter, you're checking in at 40 degrees. It looks like even cooler weather's on the way. We'll talk about that, and also growing signs of a big storm system affecting the East Coast. WWAY News at 11 starts right now.
This is the place for news that matters. You're watching WWAY News at 11.
Controversy continues in Bladen County. Now on WWAY News at 11, what we're learning tonight about allegations of voter fraud. Plus, important details for farmers impacted by Hurricane Florence and even Tropical Storm Michael. And the nation continues to mourn the loss of President George H.W. Bush. Details on his funeral happening tomorrow. Thanks for joining us tonight for your news at 11. I'm Amanda Fitzpatrick. Tonight we begin with a developing story, Bladen County making national headlines, but because of serious questions holding up the 9th Congressional District race from last month. Mark Harris beat incumbent Robert Pittenger in May's GOP primary by about 1,400 votes. Well, this fall, Harris beat Democrat Dan McCready by about 900 votes for the district that stretches from Charlotte all the way to Bladen County. But it's what may have happened in Bladen County with a man named McCray Dallas that has a state board of elections looking for answers. And we learned today from Bladen County District Attorney John David that this is not the first time there has been allegations about voter issues in that county, nor is it the first time Dallas has been implicated. Tonight, new information from the state about what has some questioning the legitimacy of his election. Well, WWAY weekend anchor Andrew James has been breaking it all down all day, looking into the story, and joins us now in the studio with the latest.
Well, Amanda, these irregularities sent to the state not only bring into question the outcomes of the congressional race, but have paused the certification of 2 county races. In the middle of it is a man the district attorney says was accused of similar issues just a couple years ago. The race for who goes to Washington in U.S. House District 9 put into question, quote, "I'm deeply troubled by the recent reports of alleged voter fraud in Bladen County during the November election." That's District Attorney John David sending me that in an email statement Tuesday. David tells us this is not the first time Bladen County has been the center of questions about absentee ballots. It's also not the first time the same name has come up. Quote, "There have been past incidents of alleged fraud involving absentee ballots in Bladen County," wrote David, referring to 2 years ago. After the 2016 election, David says the State Board of Elections investigated the groups Patriots for Progress and the Bladen County Improvement Association for issues with absentee ballots, as well as voter fraud allegations against McCray Dallas. David says early this year that investigation was turned over to the SBI and Wake County District Attorney's Office. Dallas is named in several affidavit complaints given to the State Elections Board regarding this November election. Dallas currently serves as an elected Bladen County official on the Soil and Water Conservation District. Now, this year, Dallas campaigned on behalf of Republican Mark Harris, who won the county handily. Emily Shipman filed one of those complaints. She tells our affiliate, WTVD, that her ballot was almost rejected because a woman came to her home and took it, but brought it back.
And she said, "I bought your both the papers back." And she said, "Here's a stamp. I want you to mail it."
I received state documents that show at least 30 mail-in ballots were turned away during the election. The state board also sent me this, a list of people who turned in absentee ballot applications. One name stands out, McCray Dallas. He alone is responsible for turning in nearly 600 applications. Cheryl Kinlaw spoke to our affiliate WSOC. She says Dallas paid her.
We thought we had seen him do it for years. So we just assumed it was perfectly okay to go around and pick up the ballots. And then we just assumed he was turning them all in like it was supposed to be done.
Now, an SBI spokesperson today would not comment on those 2016 allegations. The Wake DA's office says Also not returned my phone calls. Now, we have tried multiple times to reach out to Dallas, but he has not called us back. We also have been unable to reach the Bladen County Republican and Democratic Party chairpersons. Amanda?
Well, you know, as we mentioned, everyone is talking about the story, even on a national level. It's been a month, though, since the election. So the big question, how is it still impacting people right here?
Well, a lot of folks are saying that it's impacting the officials that are overseeing a lot of these things. We saw over the weekend, we reported to you guys that the state chairman of the Board of Elections, Andy Penry, was resigning. Those resignations coming from alleged bias that was levied towards him, and he didn't want that to come and affect the investigations in any form or fashion. Now, also, there's the departure of the Bladen County Elections Director, Cynthia Shaw, that's into question. I reached out to Shaw, who is, in fact, leaving office this month. She is set to retire, though, at the beginning of next year. Well, the longtime elections director actually announced her retirement back in August to the county. She tells me she had vacation time that was saved up to be out of the office for the remainder of the month of December. Now, she spoke to me over the phone, saying, I asked her if the investigation affected her decision at all. She says, quote, the investigation has nothing to do with me leaving. I am retiring, not resigning. And Amanda, there are calls that are out there for the state to hold a public hearing on this issue as well.
So much to the story, and it hasn't stopped.
Well, our affiliate WSOC's political reporter Joe Bruno, you just saw him. He's been digging into this story all weekend and even into today. He was in Bladen County again today, where he spoke to a woman who says Dallas told her to push undecided voters towards Harris.
Well, you know, even though she was told to do that by Dallas, well, she says she did not. Joe Bruno has more on this story.
A second person is confirming to me they were paid by McRae Dallas to pick up absentee ballots. Her name is Cheryl Kinlaw. She has known Dallas for a while and decided to work with him to pick up some extra cash for Christmas.
I feel bad now that I know that it wasn't legal, but I did at the time I didn't know.
Kinlaw is friends with Ginger Eason. Yesterday, she told me she was hired by Dallas to do the same thing. I discovered them after a source provided me with photocopies of 159 absentee ballot envelopes. Kinlaw and Eason signed as witnesses for the people whose ballots they picked up. Like Eason, Kinlaw didn't mail the ballots. She gave them to Dallas.
And I don't know what happened to him after that. I know there was stacks of them on his desk.
Kinlaw says she dropped the ballots off to this brick office building on NC 410 highway. No one was around when I stopped by, but there was a Mark Harris bumper sticker on the front door. Kinlaw says she was told to promote Harris and Bladen County Sheriff Jim McVicker to voters. She refused.
Well, if he said kind of boost them whenever you're talking to people, and I tell people, vote for who you think's right. But he was more like, you need to get Mark Harris in here and you need to get McVicker in here.
Of the copies of returned envelopes I obtained, Kinlaw and Eason were 2 of 8 people who signed as witnesses for at least 10 ballots each. Today, I stopped by the homes of those other witnesses. At Sandra Dallas's apartment in Lisa Britt's claimed residence, someone was inside and saw me but refused to open the door. When I stopped by the homes of James Singletary, Jessica Dallas, and Deborah Edwards, no one was around. Woody Hester, who signed the most ballots, didn't want to see me either. Paul says she knows of at least 5 other people who are doing this. She says it has been going on for years. Do you feel McRae Dallas swayed the election?
Yeah.
And that was Joe Bruno reporting for us. For more on this story, you can go to WWAY-TV3.com. We have stuff on the DA as well as my latest report you guys just saw there.
Yep, the DA statement is there as well. All right, thank you so much for your reporting as well, Andrew. Well, the investigation into allegations of absentee voter fraud in North Carolina's 9th Congressional District has spilled over into the debate among legislators about a bill implementing a new constitutional amendment that requires photo identification to vote in person. New at 11, a State House committee voted along party lines today for a measure that lays out the types of qualifying photo IDs, including driver's licenses, passports, and college IDs, and the exceptions to the constitutional mandate. An amendment approved by the committee would require most people who use mail-in absentee ballots, which was the issue here, to include a photocopy of a qualifying ID in the ballot envelope or show the ID to the county elections officials later. The House will reconvene tomorrow morning. North Carolina farmers have until Monday to register for nearly $250 million in aid to help cover damages and even loss from Hurricane Florence and Tropical Storm Michael. The state agriculture departments say that the Hurricane Florence Agricultural Disaster Program that the governor just signed into law will provide direct assistance to farmers. Crops planted but not harvested on or before September 13th, and one of the 54 declared counties are eligible for assistance. And we do have the full story and information on our website. You know, the Salvation Army's Major Mark Craddock says that more than 2,000 angels, well, they still need to be returned for the angel tree. That means there are 2,000 of them out there, and there are about 200 that still need to be adopted, but there is still time for you to participate. The Independence Mall Angel Tree has been the most active. This tree is available during the mall's business hours. You can choose an angel, shop, and then return the gift. But Craddock says they are always welcoming donations. There is a desperate need for items for girls ages 10 to 14. The last day to adopt and return your angel will be Monday. Gifts will be delivered in time for the holiday. A North Carolina animal rescue group says that thanks to the Walking Dead actor Jeffrey Dean Morgan, whose character is so nice on the show, but in real life, a donkey and an emu who bonded with each other can still stay together. Carolina Waterfowl Rescue's founder, he drove them to Morgan's farm today. Morgan is married to One Tree Hill actress and former Wilmington resident Hillary Burton. Jack and Diane were rescued from Kershaw, South Carolina, when their owner vanished. Carolina Waterfowl Rescue says Morgan was the best choice to adopt them since he has resources to care for the pair and they can roam free on his New York farm. Well, the nation continues to pay respects to our 41st president, the latest from Washington, as George H.W. Bush lies in state at the Capitol. Plus, why Special Counsel Robert Mueller is recommending no jail time for former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn.
And it looks like another cool day out there. Temperatures staying in the 50s, and if you're going to be heading to the beach, it's going to be pretty brisk as well. There's winds coming out of the north 5 to 15 miles an hour. Much more on the cool weather, as well as the storm system heading our way this weekend. Stay tuned.
Now, your WWAY Storm Track 3 AccuWeather forecast with Chief Meteorologist Scott Dean.
Well, it looks like our weather's going to stay cool over the next few days, and that means you're going to need to grab that jacket as you're heading out, especially during the morning hours. As we take a look at the weather headlines, it does look like our weather will stay quiet, but on the cool side. But as we go into the weekend, there are growing signs a major storm system is going to be affecting the East Coast, including the Carolinas and here in southeast North Carolina. As you can see on our new World Sky View weather cam, very pretty picture there. If you look closely, you can see the Christmas tree sparkling in the night sky, as we do have some cloudiness that is now pushing into our area. Some areas are overcast, a few breaks near the coast, and it looks like these clouds will be with us for the remainder of the night, and that's going to actually slow temperatures from falling much more. It looks like we'll probably drop, some areas will drop into the 30s before all is said and done. But basically what we have is a very quiet weather pattern as we have these winds that are coming out of the west. We don't have any big kinks in the jet stream right now, a fairly flat flow here, and also a flow that is keeping the moisture at bay down in the Gulf of Mexico. And it looks like this trough will move away, but then we start to see things begin to change. An upper level low or developing upper level system is going to induce an area of low pressure near the Texas coast, and that's going to be riding up along the Gulf Coast into the southeast, and this is going to bring quite a bit of moisture into our area as this upper level low continues to develop and dig this trough down into the eastern United States. So it looks like a cool and unsettled weather period. There are still some details to be ironed out on the exact evolution of this trough, which will have a profound impact on the track of the storm, the intensity, and who gets what from it. Now, our pinpoint futurecast model is showing quiet conditions, a few clouds overnight tonight into tomorrow. Otherwise, we're going to see quite a bit of sunshine, especially Thursday, a sunny day. But by the time we get into Friday, that's when we're going to start to see the moisture heading our way. This takes us into Friday evening, and then as we go into Saturday morning, into Saturday afternoon, the rain starts to move in, the shield of rain, and where the cold air is going to be locked in place east of the mountains as the precipitation moves in, it's very possible it could form into some wet snow. That's not in our area. That's going to be in the northwest Piedmont. For us here in southeast North Carolina, we're going to see a good soaking of rain as the area of low pressure wraps up along the Outer Banks and we may see a little bit of wraparound moisture on Monday, but it does look like the system will start to pull out of our area as we go into Tuesday. But it certainly will be a cool period. Looking at temperatures tonight, it'll drop down into the 30s tomorrow morning, and then we warm into the low to mid 50s during the afternoon, and then even cooler weather on Thursday. Downright cold temperatures in the upper 20s to around 30, and then highs struggling to make it up to 50 degrees on Thursday afternoon. So we're going to see clouds for the rest of the night, at least variably cloudy skies with temperatures in the 30s, but now that the clouds have moved in, some of these readings may be a little bit on the low side, but it will be a cool day tomorrow with intervals of clouds and sunshine, temperatures in the 50s. And looking at your WWAY Storm Track 3 AccuWeather forecast, quiet weather for the rest of the week. Then we turn our attention to that storm system over the weekend that could give us a good soaking of rain, especially Saturday night into Sunday, and that could linger into Monday, perhaps Tuesday. And some of the models are indicating those temperatures there may be on the warm side. We may be colder than that. So we'll watch it very closely as we go into the next few days.
Have to pay attention, watch the news and the weather to get the latest.
That's
and I know we talked about if you want some white stuff, it's not going to be here, but go a little further towards the Piedmont.
Possibly some wet snow up towards the Triad, possibly.
Just not here, just
not
sand.
Here, not here.
All right, thank you, Scott. Well, 4 former presidents, world leaders, members of Congress, and President Donald Trump will all gather at the National Cathedral to honor the late George H.W. Bush tomorrow. His son, George W. Bush, will give the eulogy. You can watch the continuing coverage of the funeral tomorrow right here on WWAY ABC and WWAY CBS. It all starts at 11 a.m. After tomorrow's funeral, President George H.W. Bush will be flown back to Houston, Texas. Another funeral service will take place there on Thursday, followed by a private burial at his presidential library. Well, new tonight at 11, Special Counsel Robert Mueller is telling a federal court that former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn should not go to jail. The reason? Mueller says Flynn has given what he calls, quote, substantial assistance to the special counsel's Russia investigation, sitting down for 19 interviews. Mueller's office adds that Flynn assisted them on many issues, including interactions between Russia and the presidential transition team. Flynn pleaded guilty just over a year ago to lying to federal investigators, becoming the first high-ranking advisor to President Trump to formally cooperate with Mueller's probe of ties between Russia and the members of the campaign. Coming up, sports is next on WWAY News at 11. UNCW women's basketball fell to the Carolina Tar Heels last year, but we will hear about how they plan to turn things around in 2018. Plus a high school basketball play you won't want to miss.
Welcome back, everyone. Well, last night we talked about UNCW men's basketball taking on the Carolina Tar Heels on Wednesday night. Well, the Seahawk women are going to have the same challenge as well. It will be a different one because unlike the Seahawk men, the women will be headed to Chapel Hill taking on the Tar Heels, coming off a win on Saturday afternoon over Fayetteville State, 72-54, behind another stellar performance offensively from Sharita Parker. The redshirt senior finished with 27 points, and the Seahawks defensively were able to force 27 turnovers that led to 24 fast break points. And last season when these two teams met, Carolina picked up the 86-60 win, but the Seahawks say they have something to prove this time around when they head up I-40.
We're just encouraging each other, and we have to stay together. That's something that's really key. So, yeah, you know, basketball is about runs. They're going to punch us a couple times, but it's about how many times can we punch them and more.
Even though we're going to go down there and we know they're an ACC team and one of the best in North Carolina, I mean, we're thinking that we're the team that everybody wants to, you know, follow. And the tide is turning here at UNCW. So the buzz is out there. So we're going to go down there and roll up the sleeves and get after it and work hard and have some fun.
Gotta love Coach Barefoot's enthusiasm. Well, let's stay on the basketball floor. Jam-packed night of high school action on the hardwood. We start off tonight going out to Coastal Christian, and it did not disappoint. Let's start with the girls' side of things. The Centurions hosting the Parrott Academy Pirates. We picked this one up in the first quarter, and look at the ball movement for Coastal. Lindsey King down low to Carson Fuller. She'll bank it home, but the Patriots would begin to heat up from mid-range in the second half. The two-girl game back and forth to Mary Helen Hood. She'll say thank you very much, hits the baseline jumper. Parrott Academy gets the 36-30 win over Coastal Christian in the girls game. On to the boys game, and let me tell you, it had some huge plays in the second quarter. With the game tied up at 15, it's Mateus Prado. He's going the other way in transition. Pretty finish, kissing it high off the glass, but the Centurions would stay right in the game. Off the missed three, Skylar Davies with the board to Cameron Green for the corner three ball. And then just check out this. Green here sticks a hand in, gets the steal, headed the other way. You think he's going for a layup, but nope. Off the glass, alley-oop to Skylar Davies for the throwdown. I think the ESPN Top 10 sounder goes dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun. Coastal wins at 57-45, the final score. Let's go to Viketown for our next set of games. Hoggard hosting the Titans of Heidi Trask, and the Vikings defense, well, it was good early in transition. Check out this. Blair barefoot with the steal. She says, hey, I might as well finish with my left hand. Gets the layup on the other side. And I know I'm a fan of defense. Well, apparently so is Anissa Lewis. Check out this. Coming from the weak side, picks up the block, sending it out of bounds. But the Hoggard, well, their offense just a little too good tonight. Overcome. Grace Howe with the three and the foul here. The Vikings win at 64-12. The Hoggard boys, well, they were looking to stay unbeaten their second game of the year. Trask looking to spoil the party and get back in the win column. And you got to love the inside-outside game here. Jackson Massey to Sebastian Hedera. And Hedera says, thank you, automatic from the right wing. And then next time down the court, this is an interesting transition of plays. Hedera gets the ball stolen, then gets it right back, finishes with a dirty no-look pass to Trey Lucas. He gets the easy bucket. Hoggard runs away with this one. 75-36, the final score from Viketown. And we'll have more high school hoops for you on Friday night on the Full Court Press. But that's going to do it tonight here for sports on WWAY. Amanda, back to you at the desk.
All right, thank you. Well, could rapper Cardi B wind up behind bars? Why the artist is being warned. New at 11, rapper Cardi B could end up behind bars if she misses her next court hearing Friday. She was warned of the possibility of being arrested after she skipped her Monday arraignment. The entertainer is accused of being involved in a fight at a New York strip club back in August. She's now facing misdemeanor charges, including one count of assault after turning herself in to police. This was back in October. New at 11, not only is rapper Drake Spotify's most streamed artist of 2018, he's also the most streamed artist of all time. Drake's album Scorpion, which released in June, is the most streamed album of the year. And the most streamed song, God's Plan by Drake. As for Spotify's most streamed female artists in 2018, that recognition goes to Ariana Grande. New at 11, producer, writer, and director Ryan Murphy is the latest recipient of a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Murphy received his star at a ceremony today in Los Angeles. Murphy created such award-winning series as Nip Tuck, Glee, and American Horror Story. He's also responsible for American Crime Story, which won 7 Emmy Awards in 2018. Well, Scott Dean has an award-winning forecast. Stay close.
And tomorrow morning at the bus stop, it will be a chilly start with temperatures in the 30s and low 40s, and we'll warm up into the 50s during the afternoon with a mixture of clouds and sunshine, so a jacket will be needed, especially during the morning. And looking at your WWAY Storm Track 3 AccuWeather forecast, even cooler on Thursday with more sunshine, and it looks like we'll end out the work week with sunshine. Then we turn our attention to the next storm system. Looks like that could be quite a soaker for us Saturday night into Sunday. With temperatures, it'll stay cool in the 50s. Some models are keeping us cooler than that, possibly in the 40s one or two of those days. So still some details to be ironed out.
Oh my goodness, looking at that weather. All right, we'll take a look at this. Llamas returned to the University of California at Berkeley yesterday to help students cope with the stress of finals. The school calls it Llama-palooza. 7 llamas were on campus. Students were able to pet them, feed them, and of course take selfies. You know, they're intelligent social animals used in animal therapy.
Who knew?
I see straight A's in their future. Good night, guys.